Hey, you guys, Tamara's still out today spending time with her family. We love you and miss you, Tam Tam. Yes. But we have an amazing guest co-host joining us today. We're so grateful she was able to get up so early with us. She's a Grammy-nominated singer, actress, and businesswoman. Everyone, give it up to Christina Milian.
Stunning Christina
How
Milian.
are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling good. You know, for getting up so early in the morning, I've managed to survive. I went to bed earlier.
Well, are you ready to keep it 100, though?
All the way 1,000.
All right. I like that. Now, it's getting cold in some parts of the country. I know a lot of y'all got some snow already, all right?
Damn.
And speaking of cold, Woodchurch High School in the UK recently made headlines after they decided to ban students from wearing expensive coats to, quote, poverty-proof the school. A letter was sent home to parents explaining that too many kids have been flaunting their $1,000 coats like Canada Goose and Pyrenex, which made other students feel bad. Now, while many parents supported the decisions, others said that the school is now wealth-shaming the students whose families are well off enough to afford the nicer coats. Christina, how would you react if, you know, a letter got sent home from your daughter's school about this?
Well, my thoughts are basically the school's trying to protect the kids. At the end of the day, I'd rather them be a little bit more overprotective in a way. Because these days, you know, you kind of almost got to go to the school and ask for that. And I find I have a daughter as well, so I'm always worried about different things. Kids say stuff, but at the same time, it's freezing cold outside. So to find a good down coat, that's my daughter right there.
So
a good coat that's going to avoid them being sick and getting the flu the rest of the year. It's kind of like, well, you know, so, I mean, but I'm going to have to go with the school with this. I will say, you know, I'm kind of proud that they're actually saying, like, let's be conscious of all of the kids and their different situations. And if we can try to avoid it, then let's avoid the drama.
Less havoc on you as a parent.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to the subject, so it brings me back to like when I was a kid, right? Like my family couldn't afford nice things, and I remember my mom would take me to go buy these jumper dresses, and she'd cut the straps and she'd replace them with like little suspenders, so I had like overalls, right? But when I went to school, the kids that had the brand name like Oshkosh Bagosh, they pointed it out real quick, like, why ain't you got the real stuff? You know, and like I could see some stitches, and I remember being really embarrassed about it, and I started to realize, like, why can't I afford that? It does start to get in your head when you see the difference. And I told my mom, and you know, when she brought me home, she's like, you know, we make that together. We do that. That's different, you know. And she's right. So she said, tell them, come look. It's not easy, you know. And I was like, yo, that's kind of real. So the next time the girls pointed it out, I was like, you should come over. My mom made this. She can make others for you, too. So I remember 6 of those girls actually came over, and my mom bought like 5 of the other dresses, and we put the suspenders on, and yo, the next day we rolled in like a clueless clan, man. It was dope, right?
I love that.
But all to say that fashion already today, it happens not just when you're a kid. When you're an adult, you also feel bad if you can't get those Jimmy Choos, or you know you can't aim to go afford the Alexandria McQueen dress and you're wearing something by Kohl's or something. But fashion shouldn't be exclusive. It shouldn't segregate. It should include. So however these kids can learn that you're not your label. You're not better than anybody else from your label.
Exactly.
That's important. That's the lesson I want them to learn.
When I was in high school, many moons ago, I had 6 pair of blue jeans and I had 6 tops to wear. And I went to a college prep school, Cass Tech, in Detroit.
And it's cold in the D.
It's cold in the D, but those kids had money. Everybody had money except for me. And I remember going home to my mom, and I was like, Mom, you know, because at the time, they were wearing, like, the hoodies, and they had their own cars, and I was, like, walking to school most of the time. And I went to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I want to, you know, look like the other kids. And she said, you know what, right now, we just don't have the money. But if you study hard and you work hard, you'll be able to buy your own things one day. And today, I'm able to buy all the hoodies I want and the nice cars that I want.
That's supreme stuff.
And you know, and I think because I have an issue with this. I have an issue because my thing is if the school is that concerned, then have uniforms. That's what uniforms are for. But Because, yes, you don't want to poverty shame, but you also shouldn't wealth shame. And if that's my kid and I'm working hard and I want my kid to look nice, I feel like I have a right to let my kid look nice too.
Yeah.
I can't help it because the other kid can't. But let's just do uniforms then. I don't know. I'm really towing the line with this because I think that there's a lesson in this to let kids know that, we all aren't the same. And so there's some people that have more money. There's some people that don't.
Because that's real life.
And that's real life. And to try to mask that, I don't know how I feel about that.
Let's not poverty shame or wealth shame. Let's just teach kids to be kind.
Exactly.
What a concept.
Exactly.
Hello. What a concept.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
I completely agree with that. I also think maybe the way to do like a balance between what both of you are saying is maybe no logos. Like, we can't wear like big name brand logos on the show. I think maybe if you say we're in a school, you can't come with a full-on Louis Vuitton, LV, Gucci. Maybe that is one way you could do it where it's not so logo driven. But again, if your grandmother or your mother went out and bought you something nice, you should absolutely be able to wear it. And I think there's a teaching lesson in this where if your child does come home, which I experienced the same thing. I didn't have nothing. I had Timberlands there was a store on Delancey Street called Favor. Yeah. Anybody remember Favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where I got, or Payless, that's where I got my fake Timbs from. They were construction boots because they were not Timberlands. Yeah.
Or stripes.
My constructs. And pretty much I felt bad about that, but there was a learning lesson in that where my mom explained to me, it's not about the name brand, it's how you rock it. And you can make anything look expensive and fly and fashionable. And I love that. We wanted to hear what you had to say. I want to include some of your thoughts. We love seeing that you guys get to be a part of the conversation. And at Holistically Ashley G said, I don't think people should be shamed for being able to afford nice things. What we wear, etc. The nice coat doesn't make for a good or bad person. That's just the person.
Right.
At Petty Lorda said, a coat is a coat. If it keeps me warm, it shouldn't matter how expensive it is. Then at Jessie Nyrell 92 said, if that's the case, the schools should have their own coat with the school name and logo at an affordable price so everyone will have the same coat, like a uniform. I like that.
But I agree with Jeannie. I want to bring that back home, that we need to teach the kids, no matter what, don't judge each other because you have something or you don't have something. I think that's the more important lesson in the whole thing.
Don't let your kids be a punk, man.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of being judged on your appearance, we've talked a lot recently about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I'm obsessed with. And she actually just became the youngest woman elected to Congress, if you haven't heard of her. And since being elected, Alexandria has been open regarding her struggle to make ends meet, revealing she won't even be able to move to D.C. until her salary kicks in this January. Well, this past Thursday, Eddie Scarry, a media writer at the Washington Examiner, tweeted a photo of Alexandria walking down a hallway with the caption, Hill staffer sent me this pic of Ocasio-Cortez they took just now. I'll tell you something, that jacket and coat don't look like a girl who struggles.
Ooh, honey.
Wow. Alexandria was quick to tweet a congressional clapback saying, quote, if I walked into Congress wearing a sack, they would laugh and take a picture of my backside. If I walk in with my best sale rack clothes, they laugh and take a picture of my backside. Dark hates light. That's why you tune it out. Shine bright and keep it pushing. Love it. One more thing. Of course, Scarry deleted his tweet following the backlash, and Alexandria noticed tweeting, oh, does Scarry think he can delete his misogyny without an apology? I don't think so. You're a journalist. Readers should know your bias. I'm here for this. It kind of goes back to what we were just saying. It's not about how much you spend on a piece of clothing. You guys... Forever 21s of this world, the Fashion Novas of this world, like they can be really inexpensive, and it's how you put it together that you are what makes your clothing look expensive. Because let me tell you, I know some people that have a lot of money, and they still be looking cheap. I'm just saying.
I also want to give it up to Twitter because Twitter, when they saw it, Twitter clapped back so hard that it was a field day. You want to read some of them? It was like one was trolling him. Ian Carmichael tweeted, I just saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez eat one whole bean. She didn't cut it up into several small pieces and share them with her fellow hobos.
Come on, Petty LaBelle's of the
They're
world.
funny, man.
Yes.
They were funny. And then we had another user, Space Camp. He replied, I just saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's apartment. I messed up her name. And she doesn't even have all 4 of her grandparents sharing a bed together in the living room.
Oh, God.
This is terrible.
But because of all of that, he had to delete the tweet.
Of course, yes.
You know?
He sounds crazy.
This goes deeper to me. I was so gassed about this, you guys. I actually posted on my Instagram from a book that I'm reading right now about this particular topic. And what it is it's about privilege. Because the way we have the conversation about privilege today is real whack. I mean, at the end of the day, we should draw respect from what we've been through, what we've struggled through. You know what I mean? Like, instead of clocking somebody for not struggling enough, you should actually just shut up and listen to what you don't understand they've been through.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, right? Because right now, especially in today's climate, I feel like there's like this game of privilege. Like, oh, we were so poor, we had to use food stamps. Well, I was so poor, we didn't have a bathroom. And then you all of a sudden play this dangerous game because you bring in demographics and character to decide whether or not you win at being, you know, privileged or not. So I just think that we have to remember that one sort of struggle doesn't negate the other, and to just know that we all have some sort of privilege that you got to be woke to.
But also, you don't know where she got the coat from. The coat could have been a gift. It could have been on
Have you
sale.
been to Zara? Have you been to any of those places? There's
This
plenty
nice
of times.
stuff.
Yeah, I grew up going to Ross, Marshalls, all of, you know, TJ Maxx.
Yes.
You dress the part.
Yes.
When you go to those places and shop in the sale rack in those places and found the, you know, found the outfits
What
I
works.
needed to get the job, to go into the interview, any of that stuff. So there's, to be shaming somebody or to try to stereotype what, you know, what a bartender
is.
turned, you know, anything struggle, anything like, you know, people, we're out here trying to make it.
Yes.
And when you know, when you show up,
Let people
you
do
want
it.
the respect.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's completely wrong for him to go, you know, to tweet that. I'm glad he made a fool of himself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
proved yourself for the world to be able to see that, and you know what we're dealing with.
Well, I also want to give a shout out to Alexandria. Over the weekend, she tweeted out a video of a young girl watching our Girl Chat segment where we talked about her all-female political squad. Alexandria tagged us saying, representation matters. Little girls everywhere are watching from the Bronx and beyond.
Love this.
It was so cute.
Come to our show, Alexandria. We want to meet you. We want to chill with you.
Yes,
That'd
we
be
would
so
love to
cool.
have
And this is what this show was developed for. It was developed to represent different women of different races and
day.
colors. And it's nice to see that we're getting some recognition.
Yes.
That's so
Thank
good.
you.
She looks absolutely beautiful. They all do.
No, it's so
Backgrounds.
great. It's
That's
times are
beautiful.
changing, people. Times are changing.
Keep up with it.